Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, California, and we are here to cover Counterpart Season 2, Episode 4, Point of Departure. Welcome to all of our new subscribers. What we normally do here is do live recaps of television shortly after it airs, or as soon as possible if it's on a streaming network or something weird like Starz. It actually premiered at 9 p.m. last night here on the West Coast, but I like to give people some time to watch the show. And for our European viewers, this was brought up, and this is very important. If you are not up or awake to take part in this, I will be making time in my Nerdrotic Nooners, which are Mondays. I'll take about a half an hour on each so we can talk about Counterpart. So if you don't have a chance to talk about it here and you want to come in and theorize with me, please join me Monday. We will do a Counterpart segment and see if that works out. Hopefully that works out well for everybody. I'm going to do a brief recap, then we're going to get to you in the chat. I have so many theories now. After a slow start, as we've talked about, which was still good, don't get me wrong, we've gotten two incredible episodes, and it almost feels like we're kind of rushing towards an end. I'm a little worried for this show. The overnight ratings, which aren't everything, are not great, but everybody who watches this show loves the show, so please spread the word as much as possible if you can. Thank you, Movie Fanobi, for the $1.99 Queen Pen's work break, because Counterpart rocks. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Movie Fanobi, and we will get to you guys in just a bit. So I will try to get through this as quick as possible. We start out last episode. Howard is in Echo. He got his ass kicked by Marcel, and we all realized that Lambert is the big problem. Quayle's luck came through again. He screwed up and walked into Lambert's trap for Claire, and it ended up working out for him because Howard Prime wants him dead as well. Everybody wants Lambert dead, but as we saw, there are two Lamberts, and they are both in league in a lot of things. They're very close. We'll just say very close. We start out the episode with Mira at the Echo base, and my first question is, do they not have outside security? But of course, the security guard walks up, talks to Mira, and seems to know her. So she has found the location of Echo base because they put a tracker inside Howard, and they were able to find it. This is very bad news because Mira is very bad news, and one of the last people of the Indigo Project. We get a flashback of young Emily talking to her mother, and we spend this episode as Emily Emily Prime tries to retrace her childhood footsteps to find a hiding place where she possibly put some information, or the Emily from Emily Silk, or we'll just say from our side, has put something in this hiding place on the other side. Things are starting to get confusing. You do have to pay attention with this show. So she's trying to retrace footsteps from a childhood she shared with somebody else. Now we're starting to get a clearer picture of when the accident happened and when people are starting to diverge on this. And I'll get to that at the end. I think it's very interesting. All right. So we have Howard Prime and Emily just talking a little bit, and she figures out the name of a book. He's not being really patient with her, and she's starting to figure out real quick that this is probably not her Howard. More of her memory is coming back. The title of this book comes into play later. We also have Claire meeting Lambert, and at this point, Lambert, knows that Claire, that he set a trap for Claire, and Claire basically says, "What the hell are you doing setting a trap for me?" And the first thing I could think of, and this has got to be a hashtag, is fucking Quayle. Okay, and I know my boy Apple Crow is using fucking Quayle. There's a lot of fucking Quayles this episode. So he explains to her, "Hey, I'm not going to come and get you. We're all in the same boat." And this, of course, was a trap. This was a trap for Lambert. He walked right into it pretty easily. It was one set by Howard and his team over there, Howard Prime, and they end up snatching Lambert and taking him back to that safe house, to whatever that team was in. But before that, Lambert knows, or tells Claire that he knows that Quayle knows. So he knows that you know what he knows that she knows. Hope you're all paying attention again. And Claire is just saying, "Fucking Quayle." And of course, she goes back to the car asks him not to smoke inside the car. I have to give props. I know I'm not trying, not trying to be pro smoking, but it's nice to see smoking back in television that was taken out for a while. It's an art form and people smoke, so it's good to see it back. But don't smoke, kids; it's bad for you. We get to the safe house, and Baldwin is with Lambert, and we find out that Howard Prime is going to take both of them to the office in exchange of getting that team out of there, kind of use them as a bargaining chip. And Lambert thinks it's absolutely adorable and funny. And this is kind of a big deal that he says, you think they're going to treat you any different if you turn us in or not, which is kind of what I'm thinking, because I think a lot of us in here agree that management is playing both sides. I think there's just one management still, despite what they've said in this episode, which we will get to. So we get to Echo, and Howard wakes up after his ass whooping and goes back to, and this was obviously set up by Yannick. And he talks to Quayle a little bit, and they have a nice little conversation. And Howard is unfazed by this. He got his ass kicked, but he's still good Howard. And he mentions to young Quayle, who's in there, he's like, I like you a little more because you're more human, even though he's completely neurotic. I almost said nerdrotic. There we go. At this point. Then we get to Ian. Ian takes the case to his friend Moritz, who is a gadget guy. And they have a couple of contraband cigarettes, and Moritz breaks open the case and automatically sees there's a management logo and totally freaks out. And in this, it is mentioned, do you think they use it to talk to each side? And well, that's actually later, but we find out within this episode that the cases are just for them talking to each other. It's not necessarily for talking the other side. So we think. I think that's total bullshit. So we go to Emily Prime. She goes to her the house, the giant house that she grew up in, sees some people she used to know, and it's weird. She seems to not remember a couple of them. Maybe she's been away a long time, but I thought that was a little weird. And the fact that she's having a hard time remembering what her hiding place was. It would seem to me that's something you could remember, especially this is not the one who bumped her head. So I thought that was a little weird. She retraces her steps, and this was a great scene with like really a good build up and great music. And she finds the hiding place. Now this hiding place, she originally took it because she caught her mom cheating. So she took her mom's wedding ring and hid it there. That was the origin of the hiding place. So we find a file, and we see the file has a bunch of the Indigo people in it. It has Mira, and we see Osman Parash, who was the guy who was handling Howard at Echo, and she sees his name, and she's got him. So she takes that file, and well, we'll find out. Emily's book that she had to Emily Silk. The book was The Tin Drum. And we noticed it was checked in and out quite a bit from the library. So she feels this urge to take it to the library. She does. And she finds out that it's only been taken out by her and some other person. And this person wants to be notified every time she brings back the book. Interesting. And this also gives me the feeling like this is something you think they would like carry over a couple episodes. I'm glad there was so much in this episode. That's why this one might be kind of long. All right, so we get back to Baldwin, and she, after she promised Howard that she wouldn't kill the team, she kills everybody. She kills Lambert. She escapes, kills Lambert, and slits one guy's throat. And as we're watching him dying slowly on the floor, we see a pretty brutal battle. And I don't know if you guys caught this, but I felt like it. Baldwin seems to, Lambert mentioned that she has a knack for narrowly escaping stuff. Like she's very lucky, kind of like Quayle. Very interesting. Could be nothing, could be something. I don't know. But if they made a point. So if they made a point of it, then I think there might be something to it. So she kills everybody. She calls Claire, says, tell Howard, I'm really sorry I killed all your friends, and bails. But the job is done. And all the signals go out. Claire signals fucking Quayle with where I'm making white asparagus. Fucking Quayle closes the curtains, who signals Howard Prime. Everybody breathes a sigh of relief. sigh of relief because I can talk. It's part of my job here. And yeah, everything's cool, right? No, not really. Fucking quail. So we get to Howard and Yannick, and they start. What Yannick is trying to do is trying to get a baseline, so he can find out more about Howard's Uzza. So they create a baseline, and they start talking about what Howard did to get to Germany. When did he come to Germany? And it's between the years of 86 and 97. Now, remember, the accident happened in 1991. So we're trying to find when they split. And it seems as time goes on, there's a lot of places they split. But there's a particular place they split really close to the accident. So, and it's concerning, Yannick goes, tell me about your father. And we find out that Howard's father was a bit of a degenerate gambler and lost a lot of money. And one, Howard is in complete denial about it. And the other one dealt with it. And as Yannick puts it, one Howard sees the world with empathy, and the other one sees it with clarity, and sees the world for what it is. Some would call that maybe a little jaded, but it depends. It fits within the show. He's a freaking spy. You got to be a little jaded to be a spy. So Emily and is at the library, and we see Lambert check out the tin drum. So she goes out and meets him, having no memory of him at all. He figures it out quickly, and then he shows concern for his other. He's all, haven't seen my other in a day. Could you let me know if you find him? Here's a pack of matches, mint julep or something like that. And then Emily could have totally walked into a trap. Even Lambert says, I could kill you right now, but he doesn't, and lets her go, and she takes off. We find out, we go back to Howard and Yannick. Howard and Yannick have a little conversation about the father. And that's when we find out that maybe that was a split, because the last time Howard Prime talked to his father was 1992. So he turned his back on his father. Howard Silk doesn't believe he did, but Yannick has to tell him, yeah, you moved to Germany. You turned your back on your father. You left. You just did it in a very different way, which freed your other to do it. I thought that was very interesting. And it happened in 1992. Apparently, Howard's dad borrowed some money from some bad people. Howard Prime paid it off and said, I'm never going to talk to you again. So we have our bad father in Counterpart. Actually, we have a couple. Howard Prime is kind of a bad dad too, because remember, their daughter is alive on the Prime side, but not on the other side. So, which is another possible split. There's so many that it's starting to feel like what they did was they copied reality and it turned into an alternate reality. So they created an alternate reality, not just a mirror. And I think quite a bit, if you're a Twilight Zone fan, my favorite Twilight Zone episode is Nervous Man in a $4 Room. So if you've seen that one, it's basically one guy in a hotel room talking to himself in the mirror, and the reflection says, the guy is an alcoholic, so his reflection says, you fucked up your life, I should take it over. And it's a whole episode of them talking, and then the mirror side takes it over. Sorry, spoilers, but it's been 50 years. Come on, people. So Claire, during the whole shakedown and capture of Lambert, Claire got the files from Indigo, got her files from Indigo, and she's at home burning them, and she sees a little thumb drive come out. Of course, she puts it in, and she finds out that her whole life has been a ruse. It was a very powerful scene. She's sitting there listening, and we have a recording of Poe talking to, I forgot who he's talking to. And he's basically saying that they killed Claire's parents. They didn't die of the flu. They gave him some arsenic, which looked like the same symptoms, and nobody really cared because millions of people were dying at this point, and they used it to their advantage. And the reason they picked her was because she was a diplomat's daughter. Period. End of story. And as she's finding out this information, there's just a close up on her, and you see her eyes just getting a little wetter and wetter, and just hurt the rage inside. And it was such a well done scene. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the actress's name, but she was freaking brilliant. And then the next time you see her, she's eating dinner slowly. And we have fucking Quail comes in and he actually notices that something's wrong. And then he asks once, which is like, hey, progress, not perfection with Quail. And she goes, I'm fine. We've all heard that before. Anybody who's been married or in a relationship, that I'm fine thing, it doesn't mean they're fine. Just spoilers. And he goes, okay, and starts eating. He's like, oh, you really made white asparagus. Dude, you know. So Ian goes back to go retrieve the case from Moritz, and Moritz is dead. Moritz is dead, and he gets caught by management. Management is not pleased, and we find out here that the case is only, of course, for talking to one side. Ian, said, "Hey, I didn't kill the guy; he was dead when I got here." And can we start another hashtag? Fucking Ian, fucking Ian. Why'd you do this alone? Nobody's trusting anybody here. So, Claire or not, Emily has this meeting, right, with Lambert, and she's about to tell Howard Prime. But because Howard Prime went back to the safe house and saw that all his people were dead, he's a little freaked out. So he comes back, sees she's gone. He's freaked out. She comes back and he's like, what the hell were you doing? And he gets a little loud with her, which, he probably shouldn't do. But she's about to tell him and doesn't tell him that she met Lambert. Tells somebody else, which, I know it's part of the story, but it's a lot of people keeping secrets. And, Howard Prime is not, somebody you should trust, and neither is Emily. Okay, remember, I know she's lost her memory and everything, but this is the woman who was cheating on Howard Silk and playing both sides and could possibly be a part of Indigo. We don't know, but she wouldn't trust Howard at that point. And she contacts somebody else, and Howard is just left there wondering who she met. She mentioned she met somebody, but that's it. We find out that Osmond got the case, contacts Mira, and Mira says, we need one more thing for my plan to be complete, which is, I believe, Howard, because the next scene we show Howard shaving. Howard, of course, tries to so Howard shaves and cleans up and talks to Marcel again, the guy who kicked his ass, and said, listen, I know you hate my other, and tries to tell him about his life, and it looks like he's getting through to him. And then, of course, Marcel pushes him again, walks away, but he might be getting through. And it looks like right now that Yannick's stuff is not working on Howard at all, and it may not work. I don't know what's going on with this. I'd love to hear your theories. Emily, of course, meets Naya Temple. And tells her who she met. And then Naya meets fucking Quail. And of course, at the end, we see Lambert, the other Lambert, caught in the cage at the crossing. And that's where the episode ends. And Quail, he's all, oh, you look like you've seen a ghost. Fucking Quail. Let's get to the chat. That was a crazy episode. Do you believe that? It felt like I just described a season of television right there. That was one episode. That's what's so brilliant about this show. On the outside, it looks like this quiet, possibly drab, boring show. Trust me on this one, folks. This is one of the best shows on TV. It's one of the most entertaining, one of the fastest moving. It's just got information at you. No, there's not a bunch of action exposition, but when there is, it counts. This one has, this show has what so many shows don't. Really good writing, really, really good writing, and exquisite acting. Harry Lloyd is as good as J.K. Simmons in this. He is so fucking good in this show as Quail. Everybody steals scenes, like even Ian. So let's get up here. Justin Marks has assembled a great writing team, and this show's freaking amazing. It's freaking amazing. I don't know why I'm not saying fucking, because I've been saying fucking all day, but we're already demonetized. All right. Sports Ball is going to delay Orville. It might. You got a notification. That is good. That is good to hear that you're getting notifications, because sometimes when we're demonetized, we don't get them, but it's okay. I don't mind. All right. So how many people saw the show? That's a good, because I can just start spouting out theories at this point. So one of my theories, like I said before, is that the reality split off. It started off as a mirror, but it created an alternate reality. I don't know how many seasons of this show we're going to get. If we get multiple seasons, I'm still sticking to there's more than one. I just have a feeling. And with Lambert right now on the surface, it just looks like Lambert was working with his other and they were just tight, but is there something else? What if there's, this was brought up last, what if there's twins and twins got doubled? Then we got four of them. I mean, like, it's crazy. Is that next to Echo Beach? Asked Jalapeno Chorizo. Yes, it is. Echo Beach. I know. I saw what you did there. Yeah, 99 subs away from 18,000. That is crazy. Well, we'll probably hit it by the morning, maybe, if things still go, knock on wood. But if somehow a miracle happens and we hit it tonight, I'll go live. I'll go live. What the hell? Mr. Twisted 72 had his first Pete's coffee. It is really great, isn't it? Awesome. Aloha from the sixth side. What's up, six scale combat? How's it going? No more hashtag no more self-love for Lambert from movie Fanovi. Well, I mean, it's going to be the more personal kind, but yeah, he's going to be very disappointed. He didn't look that bothered though, right? I mean, he's got to know that his other's dead, or maybe he doesn't, or maybe the guy's just unsinkable, I love smart shows like this one, unlike some other shows that we will remain unnamed, and we will. We're talking about good stuff right now, Mako. We are. I've got plenty of that for the other stuff. Go watch the videos. I became a member to be part of the Counterpart watch party. Well, I'm sorry you missed one. JPRH one. We will do another one for the finale. I think for the finale, what we'll do is we'll do that one right around the time it airs. So yeah, stick around. It's only a month. I think it's like $1, and we'll do it. What's up, DJ D Show? How you doing? How you doing? I'm just looking for. Wasn't it implied that R. Howard was good because he kept the contract with his father in contact? I would say so. I would consider that good. I guess it's a matter of perspective there, Mako, but that's a really good point. I'm starting to get the vibe, though, a little bit. At first, I was like, well, maybe just one side is good, but no, I think there is something to the split to where you're not good or bad. It's definite alternate. And that's what Yannick is there to find out. He's playing like the evil German Nazi scientist, experimenting on people, and they're holding them against their will. I mean, listen, if you just look at this on the surface, the prime side seems a little more evil. That's where Indigo is coming from. They are withholding people against their will to just research their others. Haven't seen that on our side. That might be happening. It also seems more developed, more advanced. There is less people because people are dead, but we've already heard, this is foreshadowing, folks. Poe killed Claire's parents so they could get a diplomat's daughter. That was it. So would you put it past this fanatical organization to maybe, I don't know, start a pandemic and a war with the other side? I think so. And where is who runs Indigo? It is not Mira. Mira is she's a high-ranking soldier. There's somebody else behind it. I think that Emily Prime is going to turn on her other and get her killed. I agree with that. Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Rich. I absolutely do. We're going to find out between Howard, both Howards and both Emilys. One of them's bad. One of them is truly bad. Is it Howard Prime? I don't know. But I don't think both Howards survive for sure. I just got this feeling. Hashtag Spy Book Club. Visit your local library. I know, right? It's such a. Every time I start this recap, I want to start it with like a code phrase for next time. Like my mother likes Limburger in the summertime, or the children eat the strudel in their lederhosens, or something like that. And it have to be German. It has to be German. Kind of like a, beer fest. which doesn't stereotype German people at all, but it's a good movie. Andre Merrick. My theory: the universe is trying to pull itself back after the experiment uh, by quantum effects collapsing one or less version of anything. Andre, that is brilliant. That is actually really brilliant, and it's something I had in the back of my mind. But you actually, that was well phrased there, my friend. What's happening is we, fucked with nature. Nature is trying to put itself back. So yeah, it's kind of like, hmm, yeah, it's if you divide if you like put your hand through water, the water goes back. If you try to splash it, and yeah, it's something like that. So I think that would be uh, what's going on, and that's what management is doing. Maybe all this hubbub going on is trying to just keep the crossing open. Um, yeah, yeah. Hey Gary, weren't you going to do a video on the recent Punisher season 2 news? Am I going to do one? I'm going to talk about it on the Nooner. I don't know if I'm going to do a video on it. I have 2 videos I'm recording right now. If I have time, maybe. I think the equilibrium keeps being stretched. It's going to cause something bad. Brian Fisher, absolutely. What Andre just said. Yeah, wow. That's really good. You guys are brilliant. Poor Howard didn't get his dinner. No, he didn't. He didn't. But he's got to know he's in prison. So prison rules, son. Prison rules, Howard. You don't want to get as they say in the joint, punked out. Okay. It's really interesting to see how both Howards look at the world. Empathy made Silk a kind person, and clarity made Prime hard and cold. Yes. And honestly, life is you need a little of both, right? Because Howard Silk, while is very kind person, he has horrible boundaries. He's in denial and he has horrible boundaries. Now, the other Howard is just a dick. It's just a dick. But in the line of work they're in, it works better for Howard Prime, but Howard Silk doesn't want to be a spy. He doesn't want to spy on his wife. He's like, okay, yeah, she spied. So what? I love her. And there's something admirable about that. There is too. People might not agree with that, but there's something like, wow, I think really deep about that. Like, I don't really care. In the great scheme of things, I just love her. That's it. Cato, all of my 52 versions of me are from the DC and Marvel. Yeah, that's right. 52. Thank you. I work on my German accent often. Thank you very much. No notifications from Tommelfinger. That sucks. Howard's father was a gambler and lost his money gambling. Fucking Quayle went gambling and won all the time. Could there be something there? Yes. They made a point of that, Mako. So we've got people with luck and bad luck. Is that the split? Is that the difference? Well, Baldwin, she gets out a lot of, life-threatening situations, but her life is crap. Her life is total crap. By the way, I don't necessarily like Baldwin anymore. I mean, I'm sorry she felt sorry but she killed the entire team. I guess I understand why she had to do it, but it doesn't make me like her. And right now I've got to ask, like, what does she have to do? It seems like they're either saving her for something. I don't know. But we're 4 episodes in and she's gotten caught and released, and that's it. But I like her as a character quite a bit. Quite a bit. We're going to wrap things up here shortly. Yeah, Gary, only tell little lies. Yes, that's that motherly advice that Emily got. Well, she learned it well. She did. Okay, trying to get logic without compassion becomes cruel. I'd rather have feelings for my friends and family and not care. Not caring would be hell. I tried that with my father's drinking. Well, yes, Tarka Jedi. Yes. Al-Anon, man. Al-Anon's a great place, buddy. And yes, I agree. Denial is not good. I am a big fan of the direct approach and good boundaries. Good boundaries. Okay, so we'll try to get a couple more here. And again, if you guys want to continue this conversation, I'm going to make time on my nooner on Monday so we can talk about it some more. I'm going to watch it again. I know I have more theories. I just can't remember them right now. So only tell little lies unless you're a politician. Big lies work there better. Agreed. So true. Oh man. Uh Yes. Yes, oh yeah, New Year's Day, we're doing it's like it's all Doctor Who all the time. We're doing like 2 that day. So for our American and UK folks. So I got a couple videos coming out very short, probably on Monday, and I will be back on again in about 2 hours. Two, oh, is it two, 4, 6? Yeah. So depending on right after the Orville. The Orville premieres tonight, everybody. We have 2 great shows to talk about, so I'm really excited. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I'm completely blown away and humbled and grateful. I'm going to be guesting on a TV show here locally in San Francisco. I will let you know how you can all watch it very soon. It's called Creature Features. We are going to be covering Wes Craven's Chiller, and then they're going to be interviewing me. Why they picked me, I don't know. I'm just grateful. Yeah. And everybody have a great day. And remember, the children eat the strudel in their lederhosens. Bye.